success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Convince more than a few of them that
we have a WWE SmackDown review back in our normal time slot. I missed the earlier shows. I have to say, I do miss the earlier shows. Yes, the international tour is over, and so we are back in the United States. SmackDown was in Chicago tonight, a very newsworthy episode of SmackDown. A good show, not a great show, but a good show, but a very, very newsworthy show with WrestleMania repercussions. And it all ties into the favor that CM Punk was owed by Paul Heyman. We've been hearing about this favor now for months, going back to War Games in November. What was the favor? Last week we thought we had it all figured out because we had the triple threat match solidified as the night one main event in Las Vegas. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman telling Punk it's in the contract. You got what you wanted. And then that little line there at the end of the show, right as they were going off the air, with CM Punk telling Roman Reigns, but that's not the favor I'm owed. Which was a great cliffhanger. But I wasn't sure if they were actually going to tell us what the favor was the following week. As it turned out, they built the entire show around it. Right from the beginning, the segment we had with Punk and Heyman, all the way to the end of the 3 hours.
What am I supposed to say?
And I've been saying the
It's
entire
not like he died a
time.
peaceful death.
One thing
I'm
that
not
they
gonna lie
really should
about
do
it.
is add something tangible to the triple threat match at WrestleMania. There's no
Sorry,
championship on the line. You have Gunther and Jey Uso for the
This
World
shit is all
Heavyweight
fucked up.
Championship. You have these women's championship
Cops all
matches.
jittery.
Some people are upset that they're not
I'm just gonna
supposed to
drive
show
through the
one of those
shitstorm and pick up
matches.
the prize, right?
There's nothing
All three
technically on the line
raindrops.
in this match.
Right, Wrecker?
And what you have here are you have Roman Reigns, Seth
Should
Rollins,
go
and
for a
CM
cup of
Punk,
coffee
the
right now.
biggest stars in the entire
Mobilized
company.
infantry on the scene.
And so why not make it a number one contenders
that.
match, right? They all want to be world
Hey, these
champions.
motherfuckers eyeballing me.
It would make sense. And I thought, well, maybe there's a way
You hear
they
that
could
shit,
tie
man?
this favor into that.
Fuck, I look Chinese to you, pal.
Punk's already got his main
you on
event.
the
What's
building?
We're not going anywhere unless you get your way out of this.
And he was actually
Make a left.
probably going to be getting a world championship match in WrestleMania last year, and now got hurt.
I think we're okay.
So, would they be able to add something
What floor are we going
tangible,
to?
something
How many
that's
VIPs the
staking
garrison
on
say?
the line
3 with
here?
Kovic?
That's what I was kind
Kovic
of
are two locals.
What I was not
Easy,
hoping,
calm down.
one thing I was hoping it wouldn't be, would simply be CM Punk saying, Paul Heyman, I want you to see my
Shit, we're
wife.
stuck. We gotta leave the van, guys. Continue on foot.
Now, Punk may have very legitimate reasons to be out of the storyline. The relationship that him and Heyman goes back decades. And they're very, very close. And as Punk talked about in the main event segment tonight, very possible he wouldn't even be here right now were it not for Paul Heyman vouching for him, sticking up for him at a time when he was very vulnerable
let
during
me see.
this company. People did not like him, did not want him there. He wasn't an advocate for him. Going back all the way to the developmental days. So, on a sentimental level, you can understand why it would be important for Punk in his first main event to want to have Paul Heyman there by his side, right? I get all that. This has been months. Talking about this favor, dragging it out, making us wait to find out what this favor is going to be. Only for it to be Paul Heyman, want you in my corner in the main event of WrestleMania. That was the big reveal at the end of SmackDown tonight. Paul Heyman will be managing. He will be walking into the ring. He will be in the corner of CM Punk on night one of WrestleMania. This did not sit well with Roman's. Obviously, now it's contention. It's Roman and Heyman, Roman and Punk. It does add a little bit of intrigue to the match, so maybe it adds something to have anything else per se. But we went with, I feel like they went with the most predictable, most basic answers they could come up with for what this favor was going to be. And it was very telling from the Chicago crowd that was very loud and very energetic, and very up for anything involving CM Punk on this show. They loved him, obviously. When he made the announcement of what the favor was, like, go back and listen to the crowd. It was like a tepid reaction. I feel like there were a lot of people in the building, as much as they love Punk, who also felt the same way, like, wait, that's it? That's the favor? I mean, that was literally what Roman Reigns said on the mic. But wait, that's it? That's the favor? And then, of course, you wanted Heyman to say no. He wanted himself to say no. That's the intention. But even the people in Chicago, really now this is what the favorite. So they went with the obvious choice. We shall see how that's going to work out because I have to be in the camp of this only increases the chance that Seth Rollins is going to walk out of WrestleMania as the winner. I just look at this right now, the way things are set up. We're a couple weeks out, right? We're 3 weeks, whatever it is. We're a few weeks away from WrestleMania, maybe 2 weeks. And Paul Heyman now is the centerpiece of this match. And so he's going to be in Punk's corner, but you know that during the match, it's going to come into play. Roman's going to want him to do something for him. Punk's going to want him to do something for him. And I just see that it's going to cancel. It's just going to cancel the two of them out. I feel like Heyman is going to get to the point during this match where he's like, you know what? Fuck the whole thing.
Ready up.
I'm out of here. And not that he's going to lead with Seth Rollins. I mean, that would be a huge swerve.
Fuck is this? Tail guns?
That doesn't even have to be.
Get us to the hotel.
Yeah, I don't see it. VIPs are on the top floor, so Skybar, Sky Bridge, that sounds about right.
And when all is said and done, he's not going to be in Punk's corner. He's not going to be in Roman's corner.
You really need to call Bones' wife.
He's not going to be in either one of them.
I know.
They're going to drive him away. And Seth Rollins never the opportunity to win. That's what it feels like to me right now. The season all plays out that way. That's what it feels tonight. Not the only thing, though. That was newsworthy on the show. We had the debut of Rey Fenix. Saw his brother Penta 2 months ago.
Stay alert, stay alive.
Now it's actually coming up on 3 months next week. Since Penta debuted January 13th on Monday Night Raw. And he had that match with Chad Gable. Great debut for Penta. Rey Fenix was still, what were they calling it? Guantanamo Bay. Well, he got his early release, right? He got released, and so we knew he was going to end up in WWE. What we didn't know is whether or not he would join the Rock
Irish,
or if they were
look
going
at
to
this.
separate the two
What
of
are you
them
expecting?
in the show, which is what they did. And so tonight he had his moment, just like his brother had his. And there were a lot of similarities between the two. And I'll talk about how that went and whether or not I think Penta or Phoenix had the better debut. But it was a big moment for him on this show. He wrestled with David Fraser, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, and there was a very scary moment that took place during that match. But great to see Phoenix. I thought he had a badass entrance, again, very similar to the one his brother has, Pyro, the game of Pyro. So he made his debut tonight. I don't know if he's going to have a role on the WrestleMania card. It would make sense. Because why debut him now instead of holding off until after WrestleMania? If he's not going to have some sort of role on the card, but that's still yet to be determined. We had 2 #1 contenders matches on the show.
The stairs.
Last man standing, Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman. The winner would go on to challenge LA Knight at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu will be going on to challenge for the title in his first WrestleMania. And on the tag team side, we had a #1 contenders match with Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, both of them were WWE Tag Team Champions. With Motor City Machine Guns and so like Fatu, they will have their first WrestleMania match this year as well. Because it's going to be the Machine Guns challenging Rollins. So, like I said, WrestleMania implications for a lot of what we saw on the show tonight, and certainly was newsworthy, and not always for the right reasons. But then we get into the weekend. Now we had a WrestleMania match made official that we all knew was going to be made official. Naomi and Jade Cargill, one-on-one. That is now official for WrestleMania. A match we already knew was Charlotte Flair against Dalmatia Matter. And those two are going to be wrestling each other for the WWE Women's Championship. Tonight we had them in the ring, face to face. All right, a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, they did the split screen, the satellite interview, and that was fucking disaster. Tonight they got the ring together, Wade Barrett and Devon Ring, and we had another face-to-face promo. And this word I would use for this was train wreck. If that was a disaster, this was more akin to a train wreck between these two. I don't know what it is about these two on the microphone. I certainly hope that they have better chemistry in the ring in Las Vegas than they do when they have the microphone. Because these two, I mean, talk about oil and water. The level of second time now in as many weeks. And the level of awkwardness between these two is off the fucking charts. I thought that segment sucked. I thought it was the worst thing on the entire show. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what it is about these two together when you put a microphone in their hand, but it's not good. So what I'm hoping is that we have absolutely nothing else between these two women until we get to WrestleMania. You want to give us promo packages, do whatever you want. For the love of God, I do not need to see these two women interact any other way between now and then. This was beautiful. And actually, what they've done so far makes me less interested in seeing them in the ring first. And they may well have an excellent match together. Maybe they'll have great in-ring chemistry. But I'm not seeing it so far. In fact, it looks like these two may legitimately not like each other. And that can sometimes be a good thing. Right? We've had people before in wrestling who don't like each other. And it kind of spills out on the TV and it can make things a little more interesting. Not with these two. Whatever they were going for in this segment didn't work in part. Because apparently what they had planned for this segment, they went off script. We'll get into what happened. But this was a train wreck. And then there was some sad news on the show. Because earlier today, there were reports circulating online that Kevin Owens was injured and he could potentially be out of WrestleMania. Nothing to do with WWE hadn't said anything. There was no word on what the injury was. Meltzer came out and said that he checked with someone and that one person said that it was a significant injury.
In position.
And we're 15 days out from WrestleMania. Any kind of injury, let alone a significant injury, is not good. Kevin Owens came out on the show tonight and he announced that he has to go away and have neck surgery. And he's not going to be at WrestleMania.
Watch the balcony.
And by all accounts, this is not work. It's not a situation where he's going to show up next week and jump Randy Orton. He's hurt and he's off the card. And we don't know. I don't want to say if. With neck injuries, you never know. And you guys the specifics. Whether it's any fusion surgery or what kind of neck surgery, any kind of neck surgery is serious surgery. So they don't know when we're going to see Kevin Owens again. Hopefully it won't be that long into the future. He will not be in Las Vegas. Randy Orton has no WrestleMania match as of right now. And it's just weird because 2 years ago, we were heading into a night one WrestleMania main event with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up to wrestle for the tag team titles. The closing shot of WrestleMania 39 night one was Owens and Zayn celebrating. Now, we're heading into a WrestleMania, I can't remember the last time this happened, where we had a WrestleMania, and neither man is going to be on the show. Because Sami's out, right? He's not even scheduled. Even Wesley's not long. Now, Owens or neither man will be on the WrestleMania, so it's very weird. So we'll talk more about what happened there. What happened with Randy Orton came out as well. I think we got a very big clue as to what Randy Orton's WrestleMania match is going to be, because he is going to be on the show. The only question is against who. And I think without directly saying so, I think we got our answers. Like I said, very new show, so they packed a lot into this. Let's discuss. This is your Friday Night SmackDown review. Thank you for hanging out with me here on Friday night, April 4th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years, and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just a healthcare, it's a to success. Earn more degrees from the nation's most innovative universities. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate and certificate programs at ASUonline.edu.
Yeah, I think so.
Come on.
With the American Express Gold Card, I can earn 4 times membership rewards points at U.S. supermarkets. So I'll grab some chili oil,
Security gate.
points,
Back with your magic.
and fish. Bucatini. That's a lot of heirloom tomatoes. Right? Get more than just your groceries. The American Express Gold Card. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/US/explore-gold. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, let's get into the show. We're going to get this all on. They were in Chicago. Chicago show that with Raw superstar CM Punk. I mean, how can you talk about shit today? And he comes out, predictable, huge reaction. Chicago is actually the perfect city, frankly, to
get into position.
Come back to the States with. Because, you know, these European crowds, they were in London, they were in Scotland. Where else were they? Brussels. And all the crowds were very loud and very energetic. So it sucked. They would come back here. They were. I don't want to insult them. What is this thing? They were running quiet. Chicago was never quiet. So they came out. They were loud. Punk grabbed one of the television cameras and went, "We go the camera." So he began filming the crowd. He said that the international crowd was the best. So he was saying, so Chicago, show them the best. So he handed the camera back to Chicago. He said that he's not supposed to be. He said that he was born with a cord wrapped around his neck and he was turning blue. I'm not supposed to be here. Funny enough, I was born literally ass backwards. I was coming out the wrong way. It happened so fast. And I'm sorry. You're here with me. Oh, that's amazing. Because I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm a bit of a wrestling. And he said, well, he goes to the camera, had his arms, doing his best rock impression. He got the goosebumps. Does that count as our second rock record? Saw him in the vision. The bench said, if you deserve it, you guys, I ain't earned it. You mentioned training with the Steel Domain Academy years ago. He mentioned wrestling like a gangster coming down to the ring for John Cena's entrance in this very building in WrestleMania 22. And he was told that he was good, and that was about as good as he could ever get for him. He's not supposed to be. He thanked his wife, April, and we got some AJ Lee chants going. He said that she's probably going to be a little mad at him for doing that, but he's puppy Larry. You got the goosebumps. Punk said that the hard work begins now, and he says that he has a big WrestleMania and he promised to whip Seth Rollins' ass and put a beating on Roman Reigns. So then we hear Paul Heyman's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, out he comes. He doesn't need any entrance music. He literally just, ladies and gentlemen, that is his theme song. You know, they came out with one of those old WWE albums. They come out with CDs every few years. It would be a track where Paul Heyman said, ladies and gentlemen, and when you play it, it literally is just his voice. And then some crowd noise in the background. That's his theme song. So he waddles on down to the ring. They said he just arrived in Chicago. He apologized to people. He said there's no disrespect to the best track in the world, CM Punk. And chanted ECW at him. Okay. I thought for a second maybe they were in Philly. But no, they just felt like chanting ECW at him. Punk said you can't escape it. You can't escape ECW. Heyman said not to ask what you can do for your wise man, but rather what your wise man can do for you. He says you belong here. You belong in this ring. You belong in Chicago, and by God, you belong in the main event of WrestleMania. Do you remember, asking Punk to take him and then being taken out? Well, it's going back to last summer. Remember when we did the segment on TV? He's like, take me with you. And then the very next week in Madison Square Garden, he's when Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline did powerbomb Heyman when he announced this. And then he said, look, I was out for months after that, the longest I've ever been out for. And then he pointed out what Punk said the night after, or maybe it was 2 nights later. His Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre and Bad Blood, where he wasn't sure if he would even be able to come back. He was so beat up. Right? He was really selling the injuries coming out of that Hell in a Cell match. And Heyman said that he asked Punk after that to be in War Games and he helped save the family, save the bloodline. Heyman thanked Punk. He said they had one more favor to ask of Punk. Punk said, boy, everyone's just going for favors these days. Now, what's the favor, Paul? And he said, the favor is that you tell me what the favor is that I owe you.
In Bill Goldberg. But I could see Bill Goldberg being next to wrestle his final match at WrestleMania. They're going to stack the show. Roman and Rock. Stone Cold and John Cena. You know? But that's something that I would still love to see now. John Cena and Stone Cold in a one-on-one match. Era versus era. You know? Then you get Bill Goldberg. I know a lot of people saying Bill Goldberg should put up Braun Breaker for his final match and put Braun Breaker over as the next guy in WWE, similar in stature. Goldberg's got a nice, history with the Steiner Brothers. So I could see that being the case. Who knows if Bill Goldberg wants to go out on his back in his final match? He may not want to lose in his final match. We don't know. But I could see some of those types of matches taking place. I would overload the show with those matches. I wouldn't mind, WrestleMania's 2 nights. It's a little bit more easier to digest. Over 2 nights, you do 2 big marquee matches like that with returning guys, legends, Hall of Famers, 2 matches on one night, 2 matches on the other, and then you stack the rest of the show with 6, 7 matches with current talent. It's not that big of a deal. But if it's special to Triple H, it's going to be special to get those types of talents to really celebrate the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. To stack the show, you better believe Triple H is going to have some great ideas for WrestleMania 40. And like I said, I would expect it to stack the show being 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. It's a big deal. You only get one time to do that. You only get one 40th anniversary, man. You better make a big fucking deal out of it. WWE apparently is losing an NXT superstar. I know you guys are devastated by the fact that Tokyo Sports
That's it, we're clear!
Alright, come on, guys, I'm done.
Is leaving Saray.
Come on, Ray.
Who
Clear to go.
gives a shit about Saray? See people talking about this on social media. Saray, Saray was in WWE because William Regal brought Saray in overseas from Japan to WWE. They love going out there scouting the globe and bringing in international talent for NXT to differentiate itself from the Rock. It was a great time when Triple H and William Regal and Bloom all ran NXT. All of this shit went bye-bye when Vince McMahon was Richard ended up running NXT and ran it into the fucking ground. Saray signed with WWE in 2020. Had been wrestling on the NXT brand. During her time on the brand, she was rarely featured in big storylines.
441.
WWE actually took her and made her into a Japanese schoolgirl with magical, mystical powers.
This is our floor.
We're
close.
Nobody will convince me otherwise. How stereotypical of WWE. They legitimately turned her into a walking anime. Me. They turned her into a power couple.
God.
Our VIPs?
Typical Bruce Richard adventure.
That's our room.
Fightful Select was able to confirm this, including that Saray has bookings elsewhere.
Nobody's alive in there.
Yes. However, WWE shared comments to the numerous inquiries about this. Since word emerged that she was leaving the company,
It takes time to shoot your way through a search party making their way up the building.
What do you think I move rooms?
You can move quickly. What the hell you need us for?
Crossing the hall is a bit easier than crossing the street. Get in here.
Sources within the brand said that she never really factored into a consistent or major creative fashion after that.
Come on, Ray.
We're told that by the spring of 2022 that the
We
writing
can't take the
was on
street.
the wall.
Chinese military is sworn.
Regal's departure was one
Who are these
as many
VIPs?
pointed
They're
out
very
as
important
a
people,
turning
significant
point
women
for
and her
her
husband.
not really being
We're getting them out in one piece. That's all you
Those
need to
who
know.
frequent the
I'm
performance
Hannah.
center said
This
that
is
she
my
hadn't been
husband.
around
Thank you for coming.
ages
Excuse me,
and
sir.
weren't given
Pardon me,
any
ma'am. Do you
answers
speak
when they
English?
asked about
Are you
her.
all right?
It was
Are you
widely
mobile?
accepted
老公，
within
你
the
别说
company
话，
that
你
the
别动，你
creative
需要好好的休息
to。her was
My
outright
husband is
bad.
injured. He needs rest.
Negative, no time for rest. Let's buy the choppers on the roof. We have to
But what
move
they did
now.
with her was downright
Can we go up?
People want me to believe that
What?
Bruce
You
Pritchard
can take
and
it.
Vince McMahon
I can
weren't
fly
running
it.
fucking
Like it
show.
or not, that's the plan.
John Moore
Unless you
and I
got an
said
option,
nothing.
Sergeant.
What are you stealing choppers now?
Are you done?
The three-headed
My
beast
husband needs
ran
treatment.
NXT.
All
Believe
this
it.
violence.
Those within the company said that Saray took great pride in
What does it
helping
lead to, Sergeant?
Tiffany Stratton
This is
along
not
during their
right.
short feud.
Thank you for coming, Sergeant. I'm so grateful you're here.
As well
Let's go.
was great.
Now, move.
Though there was a language barrier,
Go.
Fightful heard no issues.
Heads down, stay close.
Let's
go,
heard
Wrecker.
positive things about her and the others in the WWE performance. Who cares? No great value was lost.
This doesn't work with.
She was a product of William Regal. She was a product of the Black
choice
Gold.
now.
That clearly Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard found no value in and wanted to make a mockery out of. Saray, all Saray was someone
clear
looked
the
at
way.
by people
Sir,
that they fired.
ma'am,
Vince McMahon
wait
and
here.
Bruce Prichard fired everybody.
Yeah, all right, we go up.
The administration fired
Sergeant
everybody,
Wrecker,
and they looked to
secure that
embarrass every
helicopter.
aspect of what the old administration in NXT was, and they kept on that, and they had their fun. That's all they did. Come on. No real value was lost. Shifting gears to AEW. The original plans for Powerhouse Hobbs and the AEW TNT title. Now, Powerhouse Hobbs won the championship on Dynamite last night.
Watch your cover! Affirmative!
Absolutely anticlimactic and lame. QT Marshall coming out to help him win the championship before those powerbomb onto what wanted to be pillows and cushions and fucking dollar store cardboard cutouts and stuff. Not really a good look for AEW. Fightful Select is reporting that Hobbs was tentatively planned to win the TNT Championship around this time months ago. They would go on to state that Fightful's report of Hobbs' push from last fall always had the championship win and
Gonna take him out!
Hobbs faced the now former TNT champion as a result of winning the Face of the Revolution ladder match on the March 1st episode of Dynamite. Down the line with QT Marshall, Marshall shared a text message with James behind the pop before his AEW debut. Hobbs had recently expressed the desire to be featured on the AEW television show More, which will be, hopefully, something that happens now that he's TNT champion. You know, this is what bothers me about the reports like this. And this is what bothers me about the lack of creativity, the lack of skill in AEW. So if Will Hobbs was the recipient of this championship, and he's really going all the way back for months, why did we need Wardlow to win the championship from Samoa Joe? Why did we need Darby Allin to lose the title to Samoa Joe before? This is what I have to talk about. Why did Samoa Joe beat Darby Allin for the TNT Championship? Will Hobbs was the recipient of this title over months of time, and this was the idea for months. Don't you think it would have been a better idea for Will Hobbs to win the TNT Championship from somebody like Darby Allin, hold it, and go on a long title reign to establish him as the champion, instead of having Darby lose it to Joe, Joe lose it to Wardlow, and then Wardlow lose it in fucking 72 hours. Twice! To Will Hobbs. Or am I losing my fucking mind?
Come on, Wrecker!
None of this makes sense. None of it. I don't know why Will Hobbs was given the TNT Championship in a match with Darby Allin. That would have been something that immediately they had a great match. And Darby was on a nice string of title defenses. He could have been the guy that would have been nailed in his fall. Now, what we need is Samoa Joe and Wardlow for the TNT title again, which ultimately did nothing because they took the title right off of Wardlow on yesterday's show. They could have easily given us Samoa Joe and Wardlow in a one-on-one match because of him cutting Wardlow's hair. Did it need to be the championship? Of course not. If you were never planning to use the title as a vehicle to build Wardlow up, at least close to what he was before all this fucking shit cooking, I don't know why you opted to go that direction.
Let's go!
That's something that... This is something that's going to be talked about.
Let's go! We gotta go!
This is something that's going to undertake to know that. This initial report, I like what we're
Fucking bad idea, Coleman!
I got it. MJF got himself in some hot water. This is the first time I'm talking about this on
No problem.
Young Finn supposedly had some kilo thrown on him by MJF during the Iron Man match at Revolution. Supposedly MJF took this stuff from the mother and ended up being I don't recall things like that, selling straight shots, multiple shots, I don't recall that being an item on the menu, going to the concession bar. I don't really believe it. It's almost as if these fucking dirt sheet journalists wasn't to kill up for them, and then they something that wasn't it. It looked like war. Secondly, if that was to be up, and the amount that was in that cup, like Jesse said last night, it's more likely that this woman was smuggling the tequila in which is a problem. It is a and she should not be doing something like that. Brian Alvarez reported on the Wrestling Observer Live that this was a real fan, not a plan. I don't blame you if you're on this plan. If it looks staged, it ain't what it's not my side. The water turned out to be tequila. I don't believe it. Amanda Eber, Ronnie Lee's wife, and others came out to check on the fan. The fan and his mother were taken backstage after the show. They were given merchandise.
Affirmative.
Wednesday Dynamite, did attend Wednesday Dynamite in Sacramento. Everything to keep. We should move on and live our lives. This kid got treated to a fucking AEW show for free on Wednesday. You got to take him backstage to go visit Bulldog for the AEW live. Bulldog was his favorite performer.
I'm ready.
Tony Khan made it right. Meanwhile, everybody wanted to talk about it on social media. Tried to keep it on MJF went too far, MJF was scumbag, MJF was boring, all this other shit. While speaking at the post-event meeting from AEW President Tony Khan and MJF were asked about the incident, MJF said when asked what was going through his mind at the moment, he said, I quote, "It did look thirsty." The follow-up question for Tony was whether there will be any consequences for what MJF did. Why would there? He's playing a fucking
No problem.
I'm sorry you can't in that 2023. We had a conversation before we came up here. We had a serious conversation, and I mean that. And it's not to be taken lightly. The young man, Titus, was a real pro about it. And we'll see Titus again here in AEW. I believe Titus is actually coming to Sacramento. I was just with him, and he was real champ about it. The champion didn't act like a champion there, but I think Titus was great. The champion didn't act like a champion. I think Titus was great. A lot of people made a big deal about this, and I'm trying to look at it from a completely different point of view. Everybody was like, oh, a little bit different. A lot of big egos online like, well, if that was my son, I would have punched MJF in the face. I would have knocked him the fuck out. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Not with the big bad bodyguard that is showing at AEW shows every fucking week standing there. No, you wouldn't. So shut your fucking mouth. Nobody's touching anybody. Nobody's touching anyone's talents. You're not gonna say shit. Okay? Give me a fucking break.
Fortress Tombstone 4.
I said this.
Roger.
I said
VIPs
this.
are inbound.
Everybody's having a fucking
Near the seized enemy helo. One of them in need of immediate medical attention. We are still in the tower, sir. Looking for an alternate exit. Over.
If this child was 3 or 4 years old, I would look at it a little bit differently. This was a grown child. Grown enough to be wearing a full-fledged adult AEW replica footwear. He had his hoodie on, expecting something to happen. I mean, he was in the fucking first row, bundled up like he was about to walk out from a fucking snowstorm.
Backpack is not the elevators that bother me.
Almost as if he knew to expect the water was about to be thrown on. Then you want people to not think much planned and not
Fucking
think
kidding me?
stage. Just to get MJF.
Awful song.
It could have been
good
something
freaking
that
song.
was staged to get MJF.
So far, so good. I'll take point.
But this kid was old enough to be wearing an adult
Let's go, Wrecker.
AEW Replica World Championship. Everybody wants to say, oh my God, MJ went too far, he crossed the line. I mean, this
Now that's
kid,
what I'm talking about.
an hour
Fortress
and a half
Tombstone
before this
4.
main
Say
event,
again your last.
was subject to a bloody death match that included somebody being stabbed with a fucking fork in the forehead with blood squirting out everywhere. Barbed wire being raked over people's faces and across their back. Bricks being brought into the ring. Somebody was hung with a fucking metal chain. But you want me to sit there and pretend fake outrage over this kid being thrown into a situation where MJF threw water on him. This kid was subject
Stop
to a
above the plaza.
fucking
Quickest way is east.
monkey
Down the main street.
earlier in the show. That resulted in a fork incident with blood squirting everywhere. You want me to sit here and feel bad that he got water thrown all over him? I don't get it.
Can't wait for it to leave.
Fake outrage. Fake outrage. Everybody loves to pretend I gotta complain about something. Oh my God, it's really great. Let me social justice on social media. Let me social justice on Twitter. Let's cancel AEW. How could he do that to a kid? If he did it to an adult, I would understand. This is the same guy that is criticized up in the front row. This is the same guy that's motorboating somebody's kids, somebody's kids. This is the same guy that's taking adult alcoholic beverages full and dumped them in front of the people who were drinking the beverage. Throws dumb at people. But you want me to sit there and pretend fake outrage over a fucking child casualty here that was sprayed with sewage water? I'd be more upset if he took my fucking beverage after paying $16 for beer and dumped the beer out for me after that fucking business. I would rather throw my cold water on the child than fucking dump my $16 beverage out. Fake.
All right, Wrecker.
You know, if that was my son, he would have already been cracked on what to expect sitting that close to the fucking show and tell. If that was my son, I would have already cracked along with MJF. Well, listen, when MJF was taking the law, when MJF was leading, when MJF was watching the fucking movie show, maybe you know what the fuck MJF was taking the law. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. You can't do it.
Oh, bitch, we come from.
What MJF is and what MJF is about. If that was my son, I'd send him to school the next day. I hope you brag about this to your fucking wrestling buddies. You got the world champion AEW throwing water on you at a regular show. Have fun with that. That's something that kid is going to go
Now that's
and
what I'm
tell
talking
his
about.
friends about.
Fortress Tombstone 4. Say again your last.
That's something that kid is going to grow up and tell his future kids about. It's a childhood memory that
You have 30 minutes to get back to the ship. Fortress out.
Joe, down the main street.
People want to call it fake outrage. Tony Khan made it right. As soon as that kid got it and was brought backstage, he instantly should have been a nomination. But you continue to mention it on social media after it all wrongfully taken away from O'Brien Anderson and MJF in the match. You made it about yourself. You made it about the kid.
What the fuck? Oh, come on, leave over there.
Well,
No, I ain't so. Come on.
social media sucks. And this fucking wokeism in 2023 is fucking vital and disgusting. Fuck woke. We fucking great.
That's what I think.
Now
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Fortress Tombstone 4. Say again your last.
Say again.
Ridiculous.
Do not hold card position.
That's what it is.
30 minutes to get back to the ship. Fortress out.
Drop above the
FTR.
Down the main street.
Apparently FTR had re-upped with AEW. Last month, Hardwood had fans talking when he shared a photo, and in the bottom left corner of the photo was a WWE,
All right.
which looked to be in contract. He later then cropped out most of this Twitter picture and put the picture up on social media.
There you go.
The Gun Club retained their titles over Newplay. Jeff Jarrett and Legal and Orange Cassidy and pay-per-view on Sunday night. Post-match FTR returned and they laid out the champions, indicating basically they come ahead and take the champion. their contract status has not changed.
Yes.
So what the FTR is saying that they are still in the same boat that they were a couple months back, and that they're just winding down the rest of their deal and opting to work the rest of the deal. Why PW decided to bring that. They have re-upped and signed contract extensions. That's a pretty big fucking mistake to make. That's what's going on. PW decided to worry about it, and then Dax comes out and says, no. Story. Nothing has remained, nothing has changed, everything remains the same. I mean, I tend to believe the dirt sheet more than I do the fucking talent, because the talent never wants to know the fucking show guys. Dirt sheet, someone like PW, it's not like it's wayside news. Or it's not like it's fucking zero news. PW decided in Mike Johnson not to put something out like that, especially behind a big wall, and take a chance. I got their basis numbers and time talking about that shit behind a big wall in bed. Make sure it's right. I don't believe that. I think that they're staying with the AMA, the same company, and I think that's the right decision. Affirmative! Why go back to WWE? There's a lot of uncertainty in WWE. Their tag team division isn't where it needs to be. They've shown no focus on bettering the tag team division. The Usos are still going to be at the top of that. Nobody's going to be better than the Usos. WWE, which is not the way like that. Not the only thing that cares about that. FTR knowing what they are looking for. Will they pay matches? Will they add to the tag team division? Will they be the greatest tag team of all time in the WWE?
Oh, come on!
The greatest tag team of all time in all of the wrestling media is the Usos. You're never going to overtake that notion. You're not going to find that out. Okay. Officially, the uncertainty is the company going to solve the Saudis. Who wants to work with the Saudis? Makes you very still there. How much shit is it? Why do you want to go back to the company in which that guy is still there? Told you, after back shape, all I'm sick. Is Triple H completely and fully in charge? No. So why do you want to go back there? Why would you want to go there? Somebody that it doesn't make sense. Plus, I think if FTR's back, we got a good chance of seeing both of them back. Just like logical explanation. FTR's not really coming back. And it is Tony Khan was talked about, well, was asked about, and did talk about Kenny Omega's contract status.
Reload.
In the AEW, we talked about this during the post-show. He said this in regards to Kenny Omega's thoughts and talk about wrestling contracts when he had praise for Omega. I think Kenny Omega is one of the world's best wrestlers. He's one of the most contemporary wrestlers. There's somebody who's been World Trios Champion, had a great match with Seth against Andre, World Tag Team Champion, the World Champion. He's done everything he can do as a World Champion in this company, and also the IWA Champion, the United States Champion. He's had some of the best matches. I thought it was an excellent match on there tonight. We saw the great match for Triple H, great match for Kenny Omega did some massive stars in the world. I hope he's here to take care of them. I don't know why questions like this are asked. When you know Tony Khan is not going to give you an answer.
Oh, fucking Lord.
This is why I really look down on these fucking swans. Really don't look down on them. It's nothing but fucking favoritism. It really is. Why ask that question? No one is ever going to get an answer.
Oh, come on! That's a bitch! Ah, come on!
And you're hit with stories that are late breaking and current. You fucking
I'm trying to do shit all over again.
fucking questions instead of bullshit questions that you know you're not gonna get the answer to.
Flank from left record.
Nobody knows what Kenny Omega's gonna do. He's guaranteed to be flat. Is there a show that he knows what WWE would? contract negotiations with Time Warner and Warner Media. I don't know. Will it even be AEW? How could it be all elite? Tony Khan does not want to lose these three men. He doesn't want to lose any one of these guys.
There it is!
Otherwise, it's not going to be the heart and soul will be crushed in AEW. Will they be dead? No. Will it sound like you know? Not much.
Come on, get the fuck out.
Tony Khan's gonna have a lot of money. Even though I think MJF's contract is not really up. I think MJF is one of those guys that wants to say his contract is up. Yeah, so you guys are both I think MJF's signed a contract extension with AEW. I'm sure also, I don't know why Tony Khan didn't get the World Championship knowing that he's got the coming up with MJF. If he gave him the World Championship, I would hope that he signs a long-term extension. Brian Cage, he may be on his way to announcing recently, Brian Cage was in the news about his AEW deal set to expire imminently. There were some hiccups, as Michael Black has now reported, that AEW had hoped to extend the deal due to injury and would keep the company to at least the end of the
We need to push over!
Cage pushed back on that and was interested. We can't blame him for that. Michael Black has been told that WWE is maintaining great interest in Brian Cage getting into that game and are open to having conversations with him. That period won't be long, as Michael is told AEW and Brian Cage agreed to work together through the end of March, specifically through the Ring of Honor Supercard of Line and where he will more than likely drop the championship as it go on to the Michael is told that some of the time that was supposed to be added to Cage's contract is actually because Cage was signed while injured after leaving Impact Wrestling years ago. Those familiar with the situation claim that AEW offered Cage a contract extension compared with his current deal, which has taken full out. Chris Jericho has been one of the big guys in AEW to basically say publicly that he hoped Brian Cage was signed with AEW.
Are we through?
And he would over his
I think so!
Brian Cage is, we talked about this on yesterday's show, last mentioned that Brian Cage was 39 years old. I think this is more of a reason than anything to want to go and do a free agent. Brian Cage, you know, at this level, the Brian Cage
here.
we know now,
Almost at the river,
he
right?
had an opportunity to see at that level in WWE. Is he going to be there? Yes.
What's going on
Is he
here?
somebody that WWE
Come on.
looked at and on their roster?
Turning into civil war.
In great ability, he's a little rougher on the edges as far as promo is concerned, but that's the type of guy that WWE doesn't look at.
Man,
And I think
this place is out of
I think
control.
he could sell.
Preaching to the choir.
Thank you. First, I don't know.
We need to help you get to the river.
Years and years and years. How is this? Rookie that you're going to be bringing into the company who doesn't know how to work TV. He knows how to work TV. Does he know how to work the WWE style? He may have to learn the ropes on that. He might have to give up a couple of things that he's learned on the indies and learned at AEW.
Eyes open, Wrecker.
He might not be able to do those things.
These are hardly bad guys. How are you?
WWE works the camera a little bit different than any Impact or an AEW. You gotta get your reaction.
Stay away from the river. Oh, we should know.
You gotta learn the ropes.
We're trying to get to the river. Chance forces have tanks. No one gets in or out of the city.
We're headed to the river.
Any anti-tank rockets around?
I mentioned maybe bringing him to NXT for those little small reasons.
The chance forces are too strong.
But is he TV ready after WWE?
Could use your help.
I make this known that day.
Stay here, protect your kid. Come on, Wrecker, let's move. See the tank wreck?
I think he knows that. Besides another team with AEW, where is he going to go further than where he is now? He's done. If it didn't happen the second go round, it's not going to happen the third go. So don't
How we doing on time?
Not good.
Take it up.
I think he's going to be better than where he is now.
Patrolling armor is in our way.
Mercedes Monday.
Search the building.
She's rumored to be heading towards an AEW thing. It's been rumored for a while. But it got even going to go. She spoke to TMZ stories. Don't really consider them a reputable source, but Monet was asked about her wrestling future. Everybody wants to know where she is. She's not going to be forever. She's not going to be wrestling over there for her entire duration on the Indies. She's going to hold that championship, and she's going to do right by that women's division, and then she's going to go and be on TV weekly, because that's where she needs to be. I'm excited to see what's next for me in the world of pro wrestling. She noted that she will pop up some indies working in Japan with her next match happening on April 8th. I'm putting the offer on the table for the list to see who's next. I want to see who's ready for Mercedes Moné.
I think I saw
Because I
one
turn
in
down
the building.
nobody. I'm always here for the chef. I'm always here for the bag. And whoever has the biggest bag is where I'm willing to go. Additionally, Tony Khan. Again, this was actually the pre-show or the post-show rather than the show. Tony Khan was asked about Mercedes. He said this: "She's a tremendous wrestler. I only want to comment on any discussions I had with anybody, especially one that is a champion in their great partner company in pro wrestling." Khan did go on to say he has a ton of respect for that great wrestler, and that any company would be grateful to her, or to work with her, interestingly, without actually I listened to that during one of these you know that you had discussion. You know for a fact that Tony Khan is always the leader that can help hold Mercedes. I think eventually she ends up coming in, and she has to come in for a full-time gig. She will definitely be on AEW programming because, I mean, if she's still got WWE Women's Champion up the time of Forbidden Door, you can guarantee fucking that Mercedes will have the haters have to do it. And if it doesn't, there's something internally fucking wrong with it. Seriously. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here, man. I'm going to get into the super chat. We have several super chats to go, but I want to thank you guys for joining me on the podcast today. I'd love to get these shows out there for you guys. Kind of breaks up the show coming into Sunday as well, so we'll be back live on Sunday.
Oh shit!
Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JindyClearY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notifications. Hit that join button, become a channel member right here on OTS, and hit that thumbs up button. We got 769 likes. I love it.
Hey, we have the beach feet now. The harbor's just up there. Come on, we need to hail a boat.
What about Jade and Mercedes?
Hey,
Nothing.
we've got civilians here. Please.
Michelle Moran with
What's
a
he saying?
$5 super chat. Betting on matches sounds like a bonehead principle. An excuse to have crappy creative. And Brian said going home, so maybe he's going back to Ring of Honor. Brian's going legitimately home to rest,
Yep, good.
to spend time with his family, and then he's going to get called out by somebody for a big match or something.
Fortress, this is Tombstone 4.
Brian
We are
Danielson,
pulling out a
Ring of
civilian
Honor
boat
will be
over.
good place to find.
This is Fortress. All right, make it fast.
This Rusty
William
old
with
tin
the
can is
$2
hardly a
super
speed
chat.
demon over.
Taking fire, Tombstone. Say again. Tombstone, are you taking
Captain
fire?
Solo on the
Give me a sit rep.
69 super chat. Would you rather take out on a on Amazon or
Tell me what just happened.
Must have been an EMP blast. Don't worry. It kills electronics, not people.
Citro with a $5
get them out of here to safety.
Fortress,
this is Tombstone. Come.
I guess it was a dream to become a pusher.
Look at these boats. All these people, man, they're sitting ducks.
Citro, thank you for the
Follow us, we'll get you to safety.
Irish, what are you doing?
Can't just leave them here back. Follow us, we'll get you to USS Valkyrie.
You
mind, Irish?
And I'm right by back.
Appreciate it, man. Thank
Follow
you.
us.
And, you are now.
Follow us now, we'll get you to safety.
VIP,
Come on.
Fortress, this is Tombstone. Come in, over. Fortress, this is Tombstone. Come in.
Brian Peters with a 199. Walking with the work with Jimmy. What a night, man. Get home safe, brother. Nick Williams with a $5 super chat. Imagine if a report comes out that he gets spread control while JD's
but there's still a lot of refugees to treat.
I won't be
Do we have
surprised.
any idea how many came on board?
Best guess
Would
between
not be
350
surprised,
and
Nick.
400. You'll
Something
get an
always
exact
happens
number
when I
soon.
take
Is
the
that
night
all?
off to the House of Glory.
What about my request for more hands?
Something
Sorry,
ridiculous always
You're
happens.
gonna have to make do with what you have. When we reach the Titan, they'll be able to help.
Aye.
Justin Smith with a
I know there are a lot
$5
of
super chat. I
unknowns about
wondered
keeping
if
all
Jim
of these
Heath was
refugees
on
safe.
just a minute ago.
For
I
what it's
searched
worth, I
and
do
he
think it was
was.
a good thing.
Hardest work in the IWC. Fuck Zach. Thank you, Justin. Felt like I was a little off tonight, man. You know, just me personally.